Hi, my name is Nathan Urben and I'm a horticulturist at the Missouri Botanical Garden. I'm in my home garden and today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite plant groups, Epimediums, otherwise known as barrenworts or fairy wings. They are such a great group of ground covers or shade plants. A lot of people think of them as a plant for dry shade, but there's a lot of selections that do better in moist soils, and I'll talk a little bit about those. There's so many different selections to choose from. A lot of them you have to kind of seek out to find. There's some with really great spring foliage and some with really amazing flower shows. So I'm going to show you right now some of my favorites that are blooming in my yard. So the first barrenwort that I'm going to talk about is this one. It's called Dark Beauty. It's a type of grandiflorum epimedium. Epimedium grandiflorum in general prefers to be in kind of moist, well-drained soils and lightly shaded or part shade conditions. Doesn't really tolerate it too dry, likes acidic soils. This variety in particular is really gorgeous when it first comes out in the spring with dark burgundy kind of chocolate foliage. The leaflets are really small on it. And then you're treated with this beautiful display of kind of purple or lavender flowers with white cups and spur tips to it. Just an excellent variety. I've had it in my yard now this will probably be its third year. Kind of grown into a nice clump about a foot and a half wide. This is the second epimedium I'm going to cover. This is a hybrid of some of the Chinese varieties. This one is called Amber Queen. It's one of my absolute favorites in the garden. It's just so floriferous. The foliage is, if you look closely, has kind of red stippling and mottling to the foliage, which kind of stays throughout the season. The flowers are large on this variety. They're kind of a nice amber, kind of yellowish color to it, and they're just produced so floriferously. This one is such a good grower for me. It's not as picky about growing conditions as, say, Dark Beauty or some of the grandiflorum varieties. Just an excellent variety. This one gets taller, probably about a foot and a half tall, and just as wide. Pairs nicely with blue flowers. I have it here with Brunera macrophylla, Jack Frost kind of behind it, which is just starting to flower. Excellent variety for kind of a unique specimen in your yard. So this is the next epimedium I'm going to cover. This one's Epimedium rubrum, or this is your red barrenwort. This is a nice one with kind of like a hot pink, reddish kind of flowers with white little kind of star-shaped spurs in the middle. The foliage on this one is really nice too. It has kind of red tones in the foliage in between the veins in the spring. It's a nice spreader. It kind of needs to be in a moister spot. Doesn't particularly like dry soils or drought that much, so make sure you water it occasionally. Just an excellent ground cover. This is another one of my favorite epimediums. This one is called Pink Champagne. It's a hybrid type of epimedium. Gets to be about a foot to 18 inches tall and wide. The foliage comes out first and has kind of this red stippling or mottling to the foliage, which kind of lasts through most of the season. The flower display is spectacular on this variety. The flower spurs are kind of a pale pink, and the cups are kind of like a raspberry red or hot pink color. It's really attractive, and it's very floriferous too. This one's a little bit more adaptable to different conditions. It's not as picky as some of the grandiflorum types are, so it'll take moist conditions, partly shaded areas pretty well. Just a nice specimen-sized plant if you want a neat shade plant for your garden. This is another epimedium I really like. This one's called Bandit. It's another grandiflorum type epimedium. It has really tiny foliage. The flowers just kind of a nice white color. The foliage, if you look closely, it's got each leaflet is just edged in a really dark kind of maroon band around the edges. It's one of the smaller ones I have in my yard. I kind of have it kind of tucked right next to a stump, and it just kind of hides the base of it so well in my stumpery. My stumpery, by the way, faces east, so this area gets a lot of full morning sun up until about midday, and now it's in the shade, which is perfect for epimediums. They like a little bit of sun, but just not the hot, intense afternoon sun. Again, just a really nice selection if you want a small little specimen perennial in like a smaller area. This is another type of barrenwort. This one's called Domino. It's a nice hybrid type that's really easy to grow. A larger variety though, so it's going to get to be about a foot to 18 inches where if it's planted in a spot that where it's going to be really happy. Kind of large white flowers with kind of red cups to it. Foliage when it comes out, it's kind of speckled, it still kind of is, and it will retain that through most of the growing season. You can kind of see it here, have it kind of juxtaposed against my shrimp on the Barbie lungwort in the background with the large pink flowers. Just kind of a nice color echo between that and the cups on this Epimedium. Again, just a really nice, large, impressive, show-stopping shade perennial for your garden. And this is going to be the last of the barrenworts or epimediums I'm going to show you. This is Circe. It's a type of Epimedium grandiflorum, so it likes moist, well-drained soils that are on the acidic side. The foliage comes out with really small leaflets, and they're kind of a bronzy purple in the spring, and then it's just literally kind of just covered with flowers, and they're kind of like nice kind of violet color with white long spur tips that really kind of read really well from a distance. It looks nice probably against like Japanese painted fern if you have silver folds or something that's got white in it, because it would play off the color of the spur tips really well. Just an excellent, one of my favorites. This plant's probably about 2-3 years old now. It's probably about a foot wide. Another excellent early blooming selection. Well, I hope I inspired you to add a few epimediums to your home garden. Check out your local garden center to see what their availability is. Otherwise, Garden Vision Epimediums at epimediums.com has a complete selection of barrenworts and fairy wings for your home garden. Hope I inspired you. Happy gardening.